This is the Art Beauty Podcast where we tell the real truth about the fake shit. I'm Amber, and today my gorgeous co-host is Jennifer Hanway. She is a board-certified holistic nutritionist who has worked with some incredible people, including the British royal family, Megan Thee Stallion, the cast of Game of Thrones, and more. A lot of New York celebrities here, a lot of Boston celebrities here. Welcome so much. Welcome so much. Welcome to the show. Welcome so much. You know, you are also working right now with Dr. Julie Rusak, who is a friend of the show. She's been on here. I'm so happy you're here today because we are really getting down into advanced nutrition, things that are better than Botox because you can actually eat your way to younger skin. And we're going to start off with the exercise. I do want to say, if you weren't able to tune in, Jennifer did a podcast with us a few weeks ago on sort of the basics of beauty and nutrition. So you definitely should go check that out. Today, we're going to be talking about some of like the deeper, more advanced things. And I just want to start right off the bat. You had a masterclass that blew my mind because we were talking about things that age the skin. And you said that cardio is one of them. And I mean,
right.
I feel like so many of us are like so worried about like getting to our spin classes and getting out for a run. That's actually counterintuitive. Why is that?
Okay. So this is not all cardio is bad. This is too much cardio, and steady state cardio is bad. So here's the thing. Cardio is what we call catabolic to the body. So cardio breaks things down. So what this means is that number one is that cardio releases too much of our stress hormone cortisol.
Okay.
We all have too much cortisol anyway, so we don't want to be producing more.
I mean, especially here in the city, but you know, everywhere, everyone has it. Yeah.
Okay. So cortisol it's not all bad. It's our energy hormone as well, but we don't want to be making too much of it. Steady state cardio. So this is anything longer than your half an hour run, your half an hour Peloton class, your Soul Cycle class. Any of the longer classes are going to start breaking things down in your body. Now, when we have high cortisol, what this does is that, again, breaks down that collagen and the elastin in the skin. So we're breaking things down rather than building things up. The other thing that it does is it creates oxidative stress. Oxidative stress, again, is going to start to break your skin down. It's going to have that free radical damage, and it's going to use up all of those antioxidants.
I mean, I'm going to just say this, or I'll let you say, you had a great thing about marathon runners, right? Can you share that with us?
I mean, all power to marathon runners and endurance runners. They have some of the worst lab work that I've ever seen. And also they look, I feel terrible saying this, but
we keep it real here.
We're telling the truth, right? We're being real. They look older than they are.
Yeah.
You think about your typical gym bunny. They are glowing and their skin is plump and they look great in their clothes and there's that glow about them. They look young and sexy. You think about your marathon runner, they look tired and worn out and old. So
yeah, sorry. I love that you said that. Number one, I was never going to run a marathon, but I love it now. I really have an excuse when people are like, no, it's so great. I'm going to be like, I don't want to look older. So
all of that hard work that we do with skincare and treatment and everything, we're going to undo all of that if we're doing all of that cardio. So here is your excuse right now not to run a marathon. It's bad for your health.
So when you're talking about though, like normal people cardio, you did mention anything under a half hour is okay.
So I love for people to do HIIT training, so interval training. And this is something like, you know, we all fell back in love with our Pelotons over the pandemic. You know, it's rare that we now go out to a spin class, but really if we're looking at something like 20 minutes, half an hour, working really, really hard in those intervals, you want to get to that point where you feel like you're throwing up. That's going to create a specific physiological response in your body that's going to help you burn fat and build muscle, but not put your body under the stress that long cardio could do.
So how often, you know, when we're talking about this, because so many of, listen, if you're like me, I need numbers. I need how, like, what should we be doing for those of us who have Pelotons or who are runners? What is like a good plan of attack per week?
So I see huge difference in my clients' bodies and metabolisms with 3 to 4 times a week strength training, and then say 2 HIIT training. And then if you want to go for your longer run, if you want to do whatever else, but 3 to 4 times a week strength training, 2 times a week HIIT training. The other 2 days, take a rest. I love my fasted walks with my weighted vest. Whatever you want to do on that days is fine.
I'm so obsessed with this. I don't know if it's just something getting older. There's no way to put this. When I used to work out harder when I was younger, I was always in pain and I was always hurting myself. And so I think now one of the things that in the pandemic, we did get a Peloton.
Yeah.
I love a 20-minute class. I love a 30-minute class. Anything over that, number one, I'm bored. And I'm just like, I'm bored. I have too much ADD. So I like this idea. And thank you. It's good to know that that's actually a good thing. 2 spin classes a week that's very doable. I love the Peloton strength. I did it this morning, knowing that we were going to be on today together, because I was like, I know she's such a fan of this. What, when you talk about strength training, are there certain, is there like a certain routine you feel like, do you do abs and arms on one day and legs and this? So what is your strength training sort of routine?
For most people, for a healthy metabolism, for fat loss, for looking great in our clothes, you really want to be focusing on the big muscle groups. So we're not doing an abs and arms day, because that's not going to make a change in our metabolism. What we really want to be thinking about is those big muscle groups. So squats, lunges, rows, pull-ups, planks, anything where we're using those big muscle groups or more than one muscle group at a time, that's going to give you your bang for your buck. Because who has time to work out for an hour and a half every day? I don't.
Are there, I think so many of us now, and like we're in the fall. I don't know if it's just me. Fall is my birthday season. And it's always for me a reset of like, okay, I know what I did in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
I always feel like the spring is me getting ready for the summer. Then in the summer, it's just like, okay, all of the things that you shouldn't do, we do. And then the fall is like, okay, time to get back on the wagon or off the wagon, or which I can never remember which one it is, but time to get back to the routine. So are you doing sort of these full body workouts 4 times a week?
Yeah. So I spent years as a personal trainer. I spent years in the gym. And so for me, going into the gym and repping through things, I am just done with that. I'm bored. I'm like you. I'm like, where's the next thing? Where's my shiny object? So personally, I actually do an outdoor boot camp 3 times a week, just close to where I live. And then 3 times a week, I go to SLT, either here in Boston or in New York. And what I love about SLT is that it's so hard. So it's so hard. I've been doing it for years, and I am never not humbled by that workout.
SLT stands for impossibly hard. So hard. It's great. It's really great. I had a friend who was a teacher there, and it's humbling is the great way to put it.
Humbling is the word. And what I love about it is that it is smart strength training in a group fitness atmosphere, which you don't always get with classes. So that's my workout. I do 3 times a week outdoor boot camp because it's close to my house and I like being outside. When it gets a little bit chillier, I'll probably move inside. And then I do SLT 3 times a week. And then I go for my fasted walk with my weighted vest. And that's it.
So how long, when you're doing your fasted walk, how long do you go for? And what is the vest weigh?
So the vest is 12 pounds.
Okay. Oh, that's heavy.
Yeah. It's not these little cute things that go around you. I think we're all seeing them now, like on Instagram.
Yeah, the Balla bracelets.
They don't really do anything. They look cute, but they're not going to do anything. You want something that is going to help with.
Sorry, Mom, you're listening to this, and I know that you got them for me for my birthday. Whoops, but I love them. Okay, but keep going.
They'll still do something, but you put your weighted vest on top.
So you know what I really like the Balla bracelets for is that my weight set here only goes up to 15 pounds. I need to get it to 20, but that was another great way for me to add 2 pounds slowly. And if I want, I can do the 4 and then I'm at 19, which is close to 20. So I think it's really good for that kind of a thing. But I see the people walking with them everywhere and you're like,
no, it doesn't work. So 12-pound weighted vest, I go for about an hour fasted. And the reason why I actually started doing that was because when we were in the middle of the pandemic, I wasn't doing something that's so important for women is thinking about bone health and bone density.
Right.
And I wasn't doing as much weight bearing because I was here in our house, which is on the 2nd floor. and I wasn't walking anywhere. And so I was really thinking, okay, I'm going to lose bone density and muscle mass. So I was like, I'm going out for a walk every hour anyway. How can I I'm all about how can we optimize the things that we're doing because we're super busy. So I was like, well, my husband has one of those weighted vests that weighs about as much as I do and really squashes my boobs. So I had to, let's be real, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So I found one on Amazon that is 12 pounds. It goes around the boobs, and I go out for an hour in the morning, fasted. And that's my kind of way of, it's a great way, fasted workouts are a great way of tapping into fat burning, but it's also a great way of elongating a fast that I do overnight as well.
So I will make sure then to put in the newsletter that's going to be coming out. If you haven't signed up for it, sign up for it. I'll get the link from her from Amazon so you can go and see this fabulous vest. Was it expensive?
$25, $30.
Oh,
yeah.
Let me tell you, when I was trying to order weights, to order 20-pound weights, first of all, they sell them by the weight, and it was like $200. And I'm like, you know what? No, I'll wait to go to the gym. But
yeah, during the pandemic, there was some crazy. You didn't need to do it. No.
Okay. So you are really a fan of, and when it comes to weights, like you're doing 45-minute classes or is like 20 minutes sufficient?
Yeah. So here's the thing. I love to work out for my mental health as much as my physical health. I work for myself. We don't have kids, so I have time to do that workout. But I would never say if you don't have 45 minutes to do, you do 20 minutes.
Right.
You do 10 minutes. It never has to be perfect.
So do you have a Peloton?
So we have a spin bike. Yeah.
You do. Oh, spin bike. Okay. I love the Peloton. I love their classes. They range from 20 to 45 minutes. They even have 10 for all of you parents at home. And I know I've talked to friends of mine who are parents who are like, look, if I can get in a 10-minute workout, better than a no-minute workout.
Yeah.
And what I find too is sometimes if I start with a 10, then I go to a 20 and then I do something, once you get in this and you can stack these classes, it's great. Do you have any, I've heard a lot about, her name is Heather something. A lot of my friends do. It's a virtual streaming workout. Heather Wood. Shoot, I can't think of it. Are there any other virtual programs that you know of or like?
Yeah. So I actually really love the Peloton strength training as well. So as part of one of my programs, we have a workout app and those are very specific, but I also, we did it the other way. I have a spin bike. I use the Peloton app. So I actually used to teach spin. So I know how to go fast and go hard. But when I'm traveling, I'll do the Peloton strength training workouts because I love them and they're super quick. And they do have some of the best programming as well.
Great. We just last week had on the founder of P-Volve. So I don't know if because you were a dancer, right?
Yes.
So P-Volve is also, let me tell you, I tore my meniscus because of my Peloton bike. And so earlier in the year, it was really hard for me because I'm not a good patient. It took me a long time to recover. I was in physical therapy. They would say, don't go for a run. And I'd go for a run and then after 2 months of that, I was like, gotcha. Okay. You guys aren't kidding around about this. And then I discovered P-Volve, which was really, really helpful in terms of being able to do these dynamic, functional strength training, but that didn't hurt me.
Yeah. And here's the thing, people always ask me like, what is the best type of exercise? And just as we talked about on the previous podcast, I could give you the exact best type of exercise for you. If you're not going to do it, don't do it. Right. If you're going to do something, I would rather you were like my 60-something-year-old aunt who goes to Zumba pretty much every single day and she loves it and she does it, than you have something that you hate and you don't do it. So number one is finding something that you love.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And it couldn't be more true. We've had a lot of doctors on here say the same thing about sunscreen. The best sunscreen is the one that you're going to wear and then remember to keep putting on. So exercise, obviously, a big component, not just for our overall look and feel, but actually for our skin health. You're really big on supplements too. Can you share some of them that you really like?
Sure. So I will always say, number one, you can't out supplement a bad diet. So we've got to get that diet down on lock. So if you go back to that first podcast, listen to those basics. Once you've got those down, now we can start doing the fun things and start adding in supplements. So number one, I actually don't count it as a supplement. I count it as a food, is collagen.
Okay. I have to keep it real here because we've had a number of people on And I hate to ever be like, no, but what do you say? I've had some doctors on here. Dr. Gross was on here and he was like, nah, collagen is protein, eat it, a steak. What do you say to that? Because I do think I get questions all the time about that. And now it's interesting. I was so happy to hear it from you that you're like, yes to collagen.
So here's the thing is that yes, when you eat collagen, is it going to become collagen in your body? Not necessarily. However, if you are giving your skin the building blocks to make collagen, then yes, it's going to help that collagen formation. So here's the thing. If your diet is super low in protein and you're taking collagen supplements, no, that's not going to go towards your skin's collagen. But if you have a diet that's high in protein, like we talked about before, and then you're adding collagen on, that's where you're going to see the benefits of collagen. And there are a lot of clinical studies about the efficacy of collagen, but it's not going to work if your diet is not optimized, first of all. And also, you're going to need to take at least, I think it's 10 or 11 grams to see a difference consistently.
Wow. Okay. So is there a brand of collagen first that you like, that you recommend? And then how much are we doing that? And then how are we adding that into our day?
So I love, there's a type of collagen called, it's a company called New Chapter, and they have a collagen called Collagen Glow, and it's a specific beauty collagen. So here's the thing, within collagen, there are different types of collagen. And this product is built around, designed to have the specific types of collagen to help your hair, skin, and nails. So that's kind of my 100% go-to. You do 1 scoop of that a day, which is like 10 or 11 grams. And I usually have that in my breakfast smoothie.
Okay. Yeah. I was adding, I got sent, actually, no, it was in the New Beauty test tube.
Mm-hmm.
Dose is the company.
That's another good one. Yeah.
And you know what? I figured, hey, it's here. Let me try it. So I've been adding that into my cold oatmeal in the morning.
At least there's something in there.
With the almond milk, right? So it's like a little bit of protein, but very interesting. So if you're not getting enough protein everywhere else, this collagen is not going to be as helpful to the beauty aspect, but still helpful to the body.
Still helpful to the body, but the better thing to do is have the protein, have the steak, because that has the complete amino acids. Your body's going to be able to use that for energy and muscle repairing. And then you add the collagen in, and that's going to be more likely to go towards your skin, hair, and nails if you're having enough protein in the diet.
Did you I think we always sort of like glorify, and I just love being able to like talk to people who are super experts in their field. Was there a point at which you started adding collagen in? Because I feel like it's fairly new that, we're hearing about this.
I think probably 2 or 3 years ago for me.
Right. Yeah. And did you notice any sort of a difference in your own like day to day?
My hair and my nails grow like crazy.
And that was the only thing that really kind of you had added in that was different?
I mean, that's the only thing in terms of how these mechanisms work in the body. That's going to be the only thing. So my hair and my nails grow like crazy. I do a lot of things from my skin, from inside and from outside. But I have had people that have come to me and been like, I've been using collagen for 2 weeks and I see results immediately.
Wow. Okay, great. Okay. And so again, the name of it was New.
So New Chapter Collagen Glow.
Okay. New Chapter Collagen Glow, 1 scoop a day. I've seen a lot on Instagram. People add it into their coffee. Does it matter in the morning, like where it's going, hot or cold?
No, you can put it in your coffee. You can put it in your latte. You can put it in your matcha latte. You can put it in your smoothie. You can bake with it. It's not going to change its chemical composition when you eat it.
I wonder if it helps. I wonder if that would help froth. That's going to be my experiment tomorrow morning. Maybe that's the secret.
Coffee. Yeah. Oh,
we're on to something here. Maybe I can get rid of milk. Listen to the last podcast. You'll understand what we're talking about. Okay. So collagen is a big thing. And then I know like supplements. And here's another thing. My doctor, full disclosure, when I had my breasts lifted, my plastic surgeon put me on this incredible regimen of supplements prior. Things like there was Bromelain, which is from pineapple. I can't even remember all of them right now. Some of them I've kept. Biotin was one. I think there was no vitamin E because you don't want a blood thinner for this particular thing. But let me tell you, my healing, and from what I've seen, the scarring and everything works. So I know my own doctor is like, you don't need it. You get a Western diet, but I tend to think, I mean, I take a handful of supplements every day. What are some of them? And one of them, after listening to your masterclass, I immediately was like, I need to go get that from Jarrow.
Yeah. So that was the CoQ10. So
The CoQ10.
One of the biggest differences, it's really interesting how we find out about these things. I had some quite major dental surgery quite a few years ago now, maybe 5 years ago. And I see a biological dentist, of course I do. And they recommended to me before I had the surgery to do 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C in the mornings. And it's a very specific vitamin C. It's liposomal vitamin C. And that is because it's wonderful for tissue healing.
Right. Yes, vitamin C was on his list too. Oh, yes.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you think about, our tissues in our body aren't different. And I remember the woman at the time saying to me, she's like, this is going to be really great for your skin as well. So the thing about vitamin C is that A, it's an antioxidant, and B, we need vitamin C as a cofactor for collagen production and protection.
And our bodies cannot produce vitamin C. We've talked to, so you have to get it from some sort of a food source or a supplement source.
It's water soluble, so you can't store it in your body. And then liposomal, which just means it's in like a gel form, the most bioavailable to the body. So you have it on an empty stomach, you take it in the gel form. I just squeeze it straight into my mouth and kind of wash it down with some water 15 minutes before I eat my breakfast. I've been doing that for years, and I swear that makes a difference.
And who makes that? The one that you like?
There is a company called Livion, something like that. If you just Google liposomal vitamin C on Amazon,
it'll come up.
It's a little box, and it's little sachets every day. And that's one of the only supplements that I travel with as well. So it's great for collagen formation, and it's a potent antioxidant as well.
Wonderful. Yes. We know it's going to keep all of those bad. We're going into flu season, folks. Knock on wood, we're not going to have it super bad this year like we didn't last year. But certainly vitamin C. It's funny. I had to do a television appearance in Australia. And I was super nervous because I was literally flying in, doing the TV, and flying home. And that is a lot. Yeah. I think the whole thing was over 5 days. But I went to the pharmacist and I was like, look, what? I can't get sick. What I'm here. I don't care what it costs. What do I take? And he's like, pulls out the bottle of vitamin C. He's like, this is it. This is the only thing that's going to help you. I was like, all right.
Yeah. And you can do it through an IV infusion. You can do it liposomally. To be honest, that drugstore vitamin C that you're taking in a capsule, that's not what we're talking about here. Right. It needs to be the certain type and a certain level.
Got it. Okay. So you want something that's super bioavailable. So you like the liposomal. That's a great tip. Okay. And then, so vitamin C, what else?
So I would do, in terms of skin, vitamin C. If you have issues with inflammation and breakouts, then zinc is a really good one. Zinc helps to balance out the,
that was the other thing. Sorry. I'm remembering now. It helps to balance that. So I was taking zinc, which, by the way, again, I had this done during the last summer of COVID. It was so hard to find zinc.
I couldn't, the vitamin C that I normally take, you could not get it anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, I remember, and it was so, like, I'm telling you, he had me on this regimen that was like, I think the vitamins cost $150.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But again, the healing, and I believe this, and this was coming from my plastic surgeon who,
and bromelain, which is an enzyme, which is you find in pineapple, that's wonderful. If you have bruising, that really helps. That combined with arnica will help take bruising and inflammation down as well. In terms of inflammation, there's another supplement I love, again, from New Chapter, called Xiflament.
Xiflament. Okay.
Xiflament. They need to work on the title. What it does is that, so we know that aging partly stems from inflammation. So all disease comes from inflammation, the same with aging. What Xiflament does is that most anti-inflammatory supplements, so even if we take something like an over-the-counter, they deal with the inflammatory response. What Xiflament does is it stops that inflammatory response at the root. So that's a really great one, especially if you have very reactive skin, if you have dermatitis, acne, eczema, anything like that. That's a really awesome one. Okay. On the same route, but slightly different, a great quality fish oil is wonderful. We spoke last time about the importance of healthy fats. Most people, including myself, are not having oily fish 3 times a week. Right. So great quality fish oil. You always want to make sure that your fish oil is coming from things like anchovy and mackerel, and that it's wild caught.
Okay. Is there like brands you like?
Yeah, New Chapter has one. There's also a company called Nordic Naturals. They have a great one too.
Are you not into, I know we mentioned the drugs before, like what about like what is it, Nature's Path or Nature Made? You're
We
not.
got to think about, there's some supplements that we can buy in a drugstore and they're absolutely fine. But in terms of supplements, it's the same with skincare. It's the same with food. You get what you pay for.
Sure. The interesting thing too about fish oil, I will say, because we are a beauty focused podcast, we do talk a lot about plastic surgery. That is something you do want to be careful of if you're doing something within, I think, like 2 weeks, right? They always tell you be careful if you're doing anything, any injections, even because you'll bruise.
Even
it's a
in
blood
terms
thinner.
of when I get my Botox, I stopped taking my fish oil for a couple of days before that. Just, it's not going to do, especially in terms of injectables, it's not going to be the end of the world. You're just going to bleed more.
Right.
But yes, in terms of surgery, you always want to check with your doctors first.
Perfect. Okay. And then CoQ10, which I immediately after listening to your thing, I was on there. I'm like,
yeah. So in terms of anti-aging, so I'm a huge fan of Nutrafol. I think we've talked about that as well. That's wonderful for hair anti-aging. In terms of skin anti-aging, CoQ10 is wonderful. Now, CoQ10 is one of those supplements that was big in kind of like the 80s and 90s. Like I remember.
Was it for the brain?
Brain and energy. Yeah.
Okay.
It's also wonderful for the skin in terms of skin anti-aging and protection. And the same in terms of reverse. I always call it Resveratrol. It's actually Resveratrol.
Resveratrol, right? Which
is
in wine, right?
Which is also in wine. It's that compound that gives wine its kind of dark color. But that's also a wonderful potent antioxidant that helps with the free radical damage as well.
Okay, great. So now you're taking, how many supplements are you taking a day? It has to be like a giant handful.
It's my job to take supplements. How many am I taking a day? It depends if I'm trying. It's the same with you in skincare. It depends whether I'm trying something new or not. Right. Probably less than you would think, but more than the normal person. So I'd say maybe 10 a day.
What about biotin?
Biotin, I have not seen huge improvements in terms of adding it in as a supplement. Again, I think there's certain things, biotin is one of them, collagen is another one, that we actually need to have them in higher amounts than we get in like a tiny amount. So biotin's not one that I've had great results with. Some of my clients have great results, but I think I get a lot of it in my diet anyway.
I love so for me, I do, but I take it's 5,000 micrograms. So it is, it is a powerful, I also, it's interesting. The Nutrafol I tried, it wasn't great on my stomach. I know people who swear by it. I like for hair, Viviscal, but the Viviscal Pro, which has that shark, I don't know. It's probably just, again, high quantities of biotin, but I really actually do like that. Okay. So you're taking all these, do you take them on an empty stomach?
No, I don't actually. I take the Liposomal Vitamin C on an empty stomach, and the rest I take after breakfast. And here's the reason is that when we take supplements, if we're taking them on an empty stomach, we haven't woken our digestive system up yet. Right. So basically they're going to go through us and we're not going to absorb them. So after breakfast is usually the best time, because that's when A, you're going to remember it, and B, we've started off that process of digestion. So we have our digestive enzymes being secreted and we're actually going to break them down.
That's such a great tip, because I feel like a lot of the times I'll have my coffee, take my supplements, but what I've started to realize too, again, benefits of getting older, is sometimes it'll irritate my stomach if there's no food in there.
Yes, exactly. And that's because you're just putting something in there and your body is like, I'm not ready to have this. I'm not ready to digest it. So yeah, after breakfast is a great time.
Great. I love that. Except for the vitamin C, which you mentioned. You said take that on the empty stomach.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with this. Okay. What else do we have?
What else do we have in there? What else am I taking right now? So we talked about fish oil, anti-inflammatories. I'm a big fan of getting, as we're talking about advanced strategies, I'm a big fan of getting your lab work done and seeing what you're really missing.
So how does the normal person go about doing this?
So in terms of your PCP should at least test you for iron, ferritin, vitamin D, B12, and magnesium.
Okay.
So those are things that are pretty much standard. Now they are covered by pretty much everybody's insurance. You always want to check first.
Right.
But most doctors probably don't run them as standard because we're not asking for them. But
Do you know, is there like I'm so sorry to interrupt you.
yeah.
Is there a procedure, not, I don't want to say procedure code, but I think sometimes like a lot of the blood panels, they have like a name for this. Would this just be like sort of a metabolic panel is what you're asking for?
This is, they're named under different things under different labs. I call them essential nutrients, but also when I work with my clients, I literally give them a list of everything that I'm looking for. I say, take this to your PCP, ask them what they will requisition, find out what is covered under insurance.
Great. Okay.
Most of the time, those nutrient tests are covered. If they're not, there's something that we can do with at-home testing really affordably for like $120.
Amazing. And I know blood sugar is another thing that you advocate. You shared on the mastermind that I worked with you that there's a $30 tool that you recommend people.
Yeah. So here's the thing: when we get our fasting blood glucose, so fasting blood glucose is what's been going on with our blood sugar over a 24-hour period. When we go to our PCP, we get one value of that. Now that's going to be different every day, and especially let's say you go out for a meal in the evening and you go to see your PCP the next day and you get your lab work done, it's not going to be reflective of your norm. So I ask my clients, especially if blood glucose and blood sugar management is something they're interested in, whether that's for weight management, whether that's for anti-aging, you go to CVS, Walgreens, Duane Reade, glucose meter or glucometer. You find it in the diabetes care aisle, and you check your blood glucose in the morning. So you wake up, have some water, don't have coffee because that can affect it. And it's like a little finger prick thing, super easy to do. And that's going to tell you your fasting blood glucose. Now, conventional values are going to tell you anywhere between about 70 and 99 is okay. I'm going to tell you that you want to be around 80 to 85 on a consistent basis.
Great. Okay. Good to know. Yeah. And my father was pre-diabetic, so he had one of those. And every time I'm visiting him, he's like, give me your finger, but I do not like that finger prick. I really don't.
It's not, so you can get like specific pens. They're like $10, and they're a lot more comfortable than doing it. My husband's exactly the same. He's like such a baby. I'm like, I want to test everything.
Me too. You know what? Somebody told me once too, if you do it in the side of the finger as opposed to the pad, it's a little bit better. Actually, the woman, when I went to go give blood, they have to measure your iron levels before you actually donate blood to make sure that you're not going to like just die on them or pass out. But she told me that. She was like, so thank you, New York Blood Center.
I will try that tomorrow morning.
She told me that the side is a little bit better. And I think maybe there's more blood there.
Okay. We'll give it a go.
And then, okay. So I know that, we focus so much on like, number one, the exercise, supplements as advanced thing. You're really big on gut health.
I am. And here's the thing. It's talking about the skin health part. That's the sexy, fun part of it. Talking about the gut health is the not so sexy, not so fun part of it. But you can't have great skin health without having great gut health. And there's two reasons why. So when we have poor gut health, which all of us are going to have some kind of disrupted gut health because we live in the modern world and we have stress and we take medications and we eat a modern day diet and all of the things. But really a healthy gut has two things. It has integrity of the intestinal lining. So this is the gut wall, and that should look like that. And it should be very selective about what it allows in and allows out. And above this is where our microbiome lives. And our microbiome, that's our population of good and bad bacteria. They are responsible for everything from your mood to your hormone production, to your food cravings, to how many calories you get from your food, the whole thing. So we want to have a healthy microbiome and a healthy intestinal permeability. If we don't have those, we're not going to be absorbing the nutrients from our food. So here's the thing. When our skin, hair, and nails are last in the pecking order for nutrients. So if we're not eating a great diet, our hair, skin, and nails are not going to get those because I disagree with this, but our body thinks they're not essential for survival.
Right. And we all know somebody who, again, poor diet. And you can tell my old co-host, Ryan, was a hairstylist. And he always said the second somebody could sit in their chair and he would touch their hair, he knew exactly how their diet and their stress levels were.
Yeah. Because your body is going to go, no, I need to keep your heart functioning, your brain functioning, your hair, skin, and nails is not going to get this. Right. So even if we're eating the most nutrient-dense diet, if we're not absorbing it at the gut level, it's completely pointless.
Right.
And then our gut is really the source of all inflammation. So if we have that kind of disrupted microbiome, if we have things getting into the bloodstream, we're going to create that inflammatory response. We're going to see it as dermatitis, acne, eczema breakouts, and aging.
I mean, there is so much here to take in. You know what? On that, before we go, because I know we're coming up on time. In terms of going back to the supplements and talking about gut health, probiotics, I assume.
Yeah. Okay. Probiotics, 100%. Now, probiotics are wonderful for gut health, but probiotics can actually help your skin keep and form new collagen as well.
Oh, so is there a probiotic that you love?
There is. So there's a probiotic and it has, so here's the thing about probiotics. It's about specific strains.
Right.
So it's not just going to your Whole Foods or your health food store and getting like the most potent probiotic. We want to think about those different strains do different things. There's a strain called Saccharomyces boulardii, or SB, and that helps to minimize the bad bacteria and up the good bacteria. So that's one that I definitely love.
Oh, SB. So not that, what isn't it? Lacto. I always see lacto.
Yeah, so like you see like lactobacillus, et cetera, et cetera. So those are good.
Lactobacillus, is that what it is? That's like me. Okay, got it.
But Saccharomyces boulardii is going to help minimize bad bacteria, which is so important too.
Is there a brand you like that you could leave us with?
Yeah, again, so New Chapter has a great one. There's also a company called the Poliquin Group, and they have a great one with SB in it too.
Amazing. You know, and I do want to say, because we know that gut health is so important, you offer a number of different programs. We discussed on the last podcast, a 14-day reset, a 28-day reset, and you just launched a new one yesterday. Tell us all about that.
So as you can tell, I'm pretty passionate about gut health. This is a story for another podcast, but it's how I changed careers from being a professional dancer to going back to school. I was actually hospitalized on a morphine drip because my digestive system just stopped working. Yeah,
oh my God. That's
when I started finding alternative methods. That's when I went back to school. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. But I'm very passionate about gut health because of it. Just yesterday, I have a new program. It's called 28-Day Guided Gut Healing Program. It takes you everything from that guided elimination diet to healing your gut to which probiotics you should be taking to the collagens, the bone broths, all of that wonderful thing. And then also as an addition to that, there's a beautiful skin from within course as well.
You know, if you're going to do these, reach out to me. You recommended that I do this gut health thing. I'm going to take the plunge. I said the summer was not possible because I just love my tequila sodas and going out to dinner with friends. And, you know, but I do feel like now in the fall, it's really doable. And I'm psyched to try this. So if you're doing this at home, certainly reach out to me because I want to hear all about it. Jennifer, if people want to know more about these programs, if they want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do that?
Sure. Easiest way to find me is on Instagram at Jennifer Hanway. Please send me your DMs if you have questions. I love getting in those DMs and answering your questions. I know we've been doing it as well, Amber. And then also my website is jenniferhanway.com. So very easy to find.
And I love your Instagram. I love following your stories, seeing you out with your weighted vest. And also you've got a great blog. So a lot of recipes, which I think are nice to kind of look at so that you can realize, like, you know, in the last podcast, we talked about all the bad things you can't have. You can still have a very fulfilling diet, a very fulfilling, happy relationship with food. And so I think if you want some inspiration, some food inspiration, you should go over and check out the blog. I want to thank you so much for being on here. I could talk to you forever, by the way.
We'll have to do, yeah, we'll do it over a organic cocktail and some, here we go. We'll do a glass of organic red wine and some olives and some almonds.
I mean, girl, you are now talking my language. I am ready anytime. I can't wait to see you in person for that. Thank you again for being on. If you have questions at home that you want me to pass along to Jennifer, I'm always happy to do that. Email me at hello@artbeautypodcast.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and of course here on YouTube at Art Beauty Podcast. And as always, we will see you next Tuesday.
Thank you.